to get past the damn green line.
Anyone who gets scared by a bear in the neighborhood, call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a Hooters.
They're going to the lottery, but the Celtics have to go to the drawing board. Boston will drop to 7-7 in their last 14 games. And a team that had not suffered a double-digit loss all year long suffers 3 in the span of 10 days. The clock hits triple zeros, and the Celtics' search for answers deepens. The final score, Toronto 110.
All right, welcome in 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm saying bye to Jim, who's got his big move this weekend before it's frigidly cold. Yeah, the cold is a coming, and of course, you're going into the Celtics game tonight. You're hoping for the team to get hot. As you just heard there, George is with me tonight. You just heard the final call from the previous game. What is going on? What is going on with the Celtics? I gave you a little bit of a tidbit last night on where they're at, but they play Orlando tonight. Celtics back in action, a team that they have truly struggled against. But we've talked about, could something be going on with the Celtics in the locker room? Certainly we know the struggles of some of the players. I went at Jaylen Brown last night. I think it's, to look at this team, Jaylen Brown's second worst shooting percentage of his career, worst three-point shooting percentage of his career. And when he's not playing like the finals MVP, the team struggles. I think we're at a point now where Jason Tatum is the most consistent Celtic. But when Brown is inconsistent in the argument of who's better, Tatum or Brown, it's always going to be Tatum for moments like this. But I mentioned the last 2 games, Jaylen Brown shooting 33%. He has 26 points total. And in the month of January, he only has 2 games of 20 or more points. And he also has 3 games of 16 or fewer points. Lowest 3-point percentage of his career. Lowest 2-point percentage since 2017. Lowest field goal percentage since his rookie year. Not to mention, because Jason Tatum's involved in this too, no points in a fourth quarter. To me, that's on the coach. So you'll hear soft and this and that. I'm not calling Jaylen Brown soft. I'm not calling Jason Tatum soft. They're 2 of the better players in the NBA. The truth is, when Jaylen Brown's playing at, an all-time level like he did last year, all NBA level, the Celtics can't be beat. I'm interested to see how he personally responds tonight. You know about Derek White's struggles of late. But the Green are at the halfway point. Second or third best record in the league, coming off a championship. They're basically healthy. We saw the loss to Toronto the other night. I'm also looking at you, Joe Mazzulla, tonight. He's saying stick together, continuing to do your thing. Now you're up against a pretty good opponent tonight in Orlando. One other thing I wanted to throw out there. In the losses this season, fourth quarters have been their issue. It's their offensive rating that's been terrible, 102. But the defensive rating, they're giving up 130 points defensive rating fourth quarter last 12 games. They're 28th in offense, 29th in defense, 30th in ranked net rating. And I wanted to just give this to you because if you don't see what's actually going on the court right now for the Green, if you just look at it, slightly off pace from last year. Still one of the best teams in the NBA. No longer the favorite, though. Oklahoma City, after their big win last night over the Cavs, which they won by 30 points. Wonder if how it's going in Cavs land today. But they're now the favorites to win it all. The Celtics are second. But I wanted to just give you the Celtics record at the 40-game mark over the last few years. So tonight, they'll play their 41st game of the year, which is halfway through the NBA season. We are literally halfway through the NBA season. In 2021, through 40 games, they were 19-21. In 2022, they were 28-12. Last year, when they won a championship, they were 31-9. This year, they're 28-12. Realistically, did anyone expect them to be exactly as great as last year? There are probably some people who do. Some Celtics fans probably think that. But to be off a 3-game pace from one of the greatest teams of all time, a championship-winning team, I'll take it. At the same time, something doesn't look right on the court, and could it be in the locker room? And I think tonight is the night for the Celtics at home, where they have struggled all year long. After Kristaps Porzingis, who doesn't say much, talks about effort, a guy who has been to a couple of different places. I was surprised to hear that from him. You heard from Mazzulla. You heard from Tatum. You didn't hear from Jaylen Brown. I hope we do hear from Jaylen Brown tonight, whether it's after the game or his play on the court. So I wanted to start a little bit of Celtics. I got more on them coming up in a bit. We only have a half hour tonight. But I did want to just mention a couple of things. NFL playoff weekend. It's a big one. Some teams off the bye now play. The Chiefs haven't played in 21 days, and they get the Texans this week as 8.5-point favorites, and they're 0-5 this year as 7-point favorites or more. 0-5 against the spread. You get the Lions Commanders, right? Two of the biggest offensive coordinator names in the game. Look what Cliff Kingsbury's done with Jaden Daniels of the Commanders. Ben Johnson's the hottest prospect right now out there on the coaching front. The Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Back-to-back games for a rookie quarterback on the road against a Lions team that has had rest, who might be getting back David Montgomery. I'm interested how they stop the run this week. Then it's Rams-Eagles. I think the Rams are on upset watch for the Eagles. But Matthew Stafford's record outside of a dome, he's got a lot to prove. Hey, we saw it in New England. He was pretty good, right? Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. That is a heavy line. A heavy line. I'm torn. I have the Eagles to go to the NFC Championship game, and I have the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know what I'm going to do there. Finally, I think one of the biggest games and the player with the most pressure this weekend, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, head to Buffalo. Buffalo has the home field advantage. Baltimore is on the road and a 1.5-point favorite in this one. There is no player with more pressure right now than Lamar Jackson. Just think about it. Multiple-time MVP going up against potentially the MVP of the league. This is a huge game for Lamar Jackson, not to mention Derrick Henry. Can the Bills stop the run? Derrick Henry ran for 1,900 yards this year. Lamar Jackson threw for 41. That Buffalo defense has given up a lot of points. They're at home, and they're underdogs. I think this is a huge week for the Baltimore Ravens. Huge. Here's the flip side of it. This is arguably the Bills' year, right? They moved on from one of their star wide receivers, and Josh Allen got even better. Now, can they rise to the occasion against that Baltimore defense? And I also should mention Zay Flowers still listed as doubtful for the Ravens. Nobody has more pressure this weekend than Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And if you really want to look into it, Joe Burrow's out of the playoffs. But when you look at the rest of these quarterbacks, right? Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl. Matt Stafford has won a Super Bowl. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is going for 3 in a row. You got Jaden Daniels and then C.J. Stroud. If you notice something about all these quarterbacks, most of them are mobile. Now, you can call Goff a pocket quarterback, but he had more rushing yards this year than Matthew Stafford. I'm only trying to relate all this to the Patriots. They try to put the training wheels or the halt on Drake May. One common thing about all these quarterbacks that the Patriots quarterback has, they're all mobile. I'm interested if Lamar Jackson and his style of play can continue on to the AFC Championship game to potentially take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Your thoughts on that at 617-779-0985. I know some of us are on YouTube, and there's a bunch of Patriots news that just dropped on my ride-in and in the seat. I'm going to get it all for you during the break, and we'll give it to you coming up next as we take you up until Celtics basketball tonight. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub. Around here, we call them the Joe Murray pre-party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Now that they have their head coach, the next most important hire that the Patriots make will be who are they hiring to influence, mold, and shape the future of their franchise quarterback. Amen. It's a critical hire. Again, we've heard the name Josh McDaniels. I think that name makes an awful lot of sense. It would be logical. He's in the Foxborough area. But I think Mike Vrabel has got to hear from a lot of different people and make sure that he feels like he's doing the right thing before he goes and hires whoever he does.
Back here at 98.5 The Sports. Whoa, this is the jam. George is in there. Want to be a baller. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a long time. A bunch of notes happening with the Patriots, and we do have something for you coming up in a minute here. It's an anniversary of sorts. We'll let you hear that audio coming up in a minute. But I just read this from Mike Reese, tight ends coach Bob Bicknell, running backs coach Taylor Embry, wide receivers coach Tyler Hughes, and coaching assistant Keith Jones, Tyquan Underwood. Moving on in 2025, the Patriots are cleaning house. Cleaning house. That's a lot of people out the door. Mike Vrabel's staff will be coming in. So there you go. Speaking of cleaning house, I do want to just bring it back, George, if we could here. We're celebrating an anniversary here. 1 year ago today, this happened in New England Patriots history. Let's hear from some of that, George.
Today, I'm happy to welcome you all here as we introduce the 15th head coach of the New England Patriots, Gerard Mayo.
A year ago.
Year ago today.
We have any thunder in there?
That was cute.
I was just gonna say, but that was a year ago today, and I got a lot of chatter about my take this week about how the Patriots are just sweeping it under the rug. I'm not gonna forget about it. I will not. They have swept that thing right under the rug. And then what happens today? I know there were rumors. However you want to take those rumors, that's up to you. But I will say that Kirk Minahan had it first. So
Thunder.
There you go, Thunder. Robin Glazier out. Has informed the Patriots she's resigning. She was the EVP of football business and senior advisor to Gerard Mayo. So I love a good source war. Source war.
Officially official now, right?
It's officially official. And hey, I saw it the other night. I didn't go with it. And now I can. So here we go. Out. So 1 year ago today, Gerard Mayo, who is now out, Robin Glazier, out, and the entire staff out. So how do Patriots fans feel about that? At 617-779-0985. I gave you the big games of the weekend. You got the Celtics tonight. It's a big one. I really do. I really think this is a big game tonight. But everything swept under the rug for the Patriots. Now that Mike Vrabel's back, all is good in the world. Mike Vrabel's back. All right, let's take some calls, George. I actually don't have the call screener up if you can help me out. Let's see who we have on the line because I know some people want to get in on this because we hand things over to Celtics basketball coming up in just a little bit. We got Celtics and Orlando tonight. The Celtics have struggled there. Who we got first tonight, George?
All right, bang with me.
All right, and now, by the way,
we go to Mike in the car.
All right, we got Mike in the car. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Joe. I was at the Celtics last week. It was great to see fellow Friar Devin Carter have a good game, even if it meant costing the Celtics a regular season win. But I'm not too concerned about the team. I'm not that concerned about Jaylen Brown. But what I will say is I don't think it's a coincidence that the team is scuffling while Derek White is scuffling. So how about this for a prop? I got Derek White tonight, 15 points. It pays plus 125 or 130 or something like that. I think he bounces back. What says you?
I don't know. I'm actually kind of curious about that one, and I would And thanks. And George, if you can cut them off, my call screener is not working at the moment. But I'd be careful on any true Celtics props right now. And it's the big thing. Like, I generally stick to, overs, unders, and lines. That's what I like. I know everyone goes nuts on the same game parlay and everything like that, and we preach the touchdowns and everything. We do all that here with DraftKings, etc. I know it's juicy. It's plus money for a reason there. They want you to bet it. It's a bait line. What I mean by bait, it's hook. They want to hook you on that number because of the plus money. He's struggling right now. I would absolutely fade anything to do with Derek White. I might even look at the under right now. But you got to look at the matchup with Orlando. Like, Orlando's... when you look at Apollo Banchero is going to be their big guy, and I'm going to look at their lineup coming up in a minute. He's got 27 points per game. Wow. I know he was having a year. I just didn't know it was looking like that at the moment. So I know that Suggs is out. They're dealing with some injuries right now. De Silva's been a really good player for them. I would really look for some bigs to get in on the action tonight. If anything, I'd look at Porzingis if you want to get in on some sort of player prop tonight. I'll pull it up if I can before we get out of here. But the Porzingis player prop is where I would look. And I'll look up the Banchero stuff because I know he was injured for a bit. And I'll look up some of these numbers for you. Yeah, just the other night against Milwaukee, 26 minutes, had 22 points. If you just look at his last few games, he's had 34, 20, and 22. So he had 2 losses against Milwaukee, and then against the 76ers, he went off for 28 and 6. And I know he had that big injury early on and finally came back. He's been back for 3 games now, and I'll see, waiting on an injury report coming up in a little bit, but they are a little banged up at the moment. Who else we got tonight, George, on the line? Is that it?
Oh, we did have... It was Christian in a car looking for some advice in Chile. He was in Manchester. He was cooking Chile. The call had dropped.
There's a food call already?
Yes.
Oh, man. I don't know if I'm... Well, hey, listen. It's warming up a little bit. Ain't nothing like some chili.
Yeah, screener had locked on over here, too. Hopefully it's good for 10 o'clock hour.
George, I know you're full of takes.
Talk to me.
Whether it's Celtics, Patriots, even NFL related. I know we didn't get into the 18-game season. What's George's hottest take in the next minute or so?
Excellent. I would say that running backs are back in the NFL officially. I'm on board and a proponent of these free agents with the vendetta. I know Mixon is nicked up now, so we'll see how that looks. But I think Philly wins with the Saquon Barkley-led running attack. I think he's the rightful MVP of the league.
I do think you can run on the Rams.
And then Derrick Henry, of course, he's going to be a focal point for the Ravens if they're going to advance.
The Chiefs, again, favorites, big favorites. I'm going to be consistent because I said back-to-back games for a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Well, C.J. Stroud's really in his second year now. They got that pretty big win last week. Now they got to go to the Chiefs. That sounds daunting to me.
I know it's and they're dinged up. It's hard to fathom it, but have everybody just consensus for the Chiefs, and then I'll feel happier about the Texans upset.
You want to talk about running backs? The Chiefs really don't have a bell cow, and Joe Tooney's going to play left tackle this week, so I find that fairly interesting. I don't know why they're not going with DJ Humphries there, but whatever. But when you look at their running backs, Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine, Kid Steele can run. I mean,
yeah, plethora of options at receiver as well too. Yeah. Where they're going to go with the football,
and Worthy does a bunch of different things. I'm very interested in that matchup this week. I'm very interested. Playoffs this weekend. Oh, and Monday, we mentioned that there's Felger and Maz will be doing the morning show, which is cool. I'm going to be here for the rest of the night. I'll be with you post Bruins game into the Celtics game, and then we'll have you until 9 o'clock. So you'll get Felger and Maz in the morning on Monday. And then I'll take you after the Bruins and into the Celtics game Monday night post game as well. So we'll be here all night long, and we'll have post game. George will be here all night as well. And if you want more betting stuff, Over Under Podcast will be up later on tonight with myself and Dan Lifshitz. All right, George. Thank you, sir. We're going to hand things off to Grandy and Max. You got Celtics basketball tonight. Orlando, Boston, coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBCFM at HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Station. This is Star Market Celtics Today. Download the Star Market Deals and Delivery app today.
Jalen forces it up over C.
No!
He tied it! He did it! Jalen Brown from the corner with 5.6 to go. Kick out, open.